Can you tell we're back from Ireland? Is that a different shirt than what you were wearing on the last series of videos we shot?
It's like the same shirt, just different colors.
Yeah.
Which is more than you.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I don't know why I'm hassling.
We've been doing a bunch of pre-recorded episodes back from the Ireland.
Mm-hmm.
Where we did Irish things.
Like you put an article before it. The Ireland.
And we've got a bunch of episodes. They're going to be rolling out on the Whiskey Tribe channel, which is our other channel. It's not whiskey reviews, it's all other whiskey topics. All right, what do we got?
Now this is a Wayne Gretzky Canadian whiskey from Terry Englert.
Terry Englert, you magnificent bastard!
Fight.
So we haven't done the Gretzky?
No, we did a Gretzky, but we did a different Gretzky.
Oh,
he has
multiple
we did the
Gretzky.
ice wine. So remember, Wayne Gretzky was a part of creating a vineyard. And in the vineyard, then they also added a distillery to it.
Okay.
So I'm just assuming, I tried to
That
look it up.
doesn't usually happen. It usually goes brewery, then distillery.
Yeah.
Vineyard, then distillery. Is
Yeah.
It? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It's common in California, too. It's common anywhere there's a good wine country. Anyway, now I think it's owned by a different crew, Andrew Peller and Peller Estates.
You know what?
But it's Niagara on the lake.
This is very friendly on the nose here.
very pretty.
I'm getting like this lovely cross between Canadian and Speyside.
Yeah, I can see what you mean by that.
Right?
Because it's sort of a rye, spicy Canadian coconut mixed with that butterscotchy, malty, earthy
And then
note.
some vanilla in there too. Almost a candied vanilla right in there.
Yeah, it's very sweet on the nose.
Yeah.
I mean,
both of those. Like Canadian whiskey
This is candy.
usually is going to be sweet. Speyside's usually going to be sweet, but it's like a happy little. It's a dalliance.
It's
And
closer to Canada than Speyside.
I'm fully 72% sure I used that word correctly. A dalliance. A dalliance.
Between the two?
Between the two.
All right. I'm also getting all of the really bright, grainy floral.
Yeah.
Grain and floral.
Yeah, great. Well, yeah.
It's sharp, though.
On the nose.
Like the sweetness is sharp. It's not a soft sweetness.
It goes cha, 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 right in there. Just the sweetness. That's exactly what I was expecting from the nose.
It tastes exactly like the nose, and it's definitely a little more rye in the taste than anything else.
But so
There's this red candy finish.
like the red vines?
Yeah.
Like a red viney
Like
finish?
waxy
A red viney
candy.
finish?
Yeah.
A little red viney finish?
Dude, that is a huge pile of dirt over there. Where did that come from?
I don't know.
You're trying to create another mountain and our neighbors.
Squirrel.
I'm sorry, it's just it caught me off guard.
We squirreled.
Sorry. Oh, red. Yeah, here's the thing.
So-
I don't like red vines. This is not red
This?
vines.
This is very it's not complex. It doesn't take you on an elaborate journey. It's sweet, relatively simple, and friendly to the extent that it doesn't have any challenging or really aggressive complex flavors. But I think in terms of just sheer, I'm going to say the word smoothness. I so rarely do. In terms of like smoothness, the proof is what makes it smooth.
Yeah,
The flavor,
slow
if this was a higher proof, this would have a little bit more of an metallic sweetness there. Some elements that just aren't really as rounded off and effortless as possible.
No, I think from
But it's a 40% whiskey.
from what I read from them, it's they did that Canadian thing where they aged 3 whiskeys separately and then blended them together to create one thing.
Okay.
And it was rye, malted rye, and corn.
Yeah, just a little bit of like a metallic sweetness on the taste throughout from beginning to finish. Mm-hmm. That icing metallic.
Yeah, it is.
Sweetness.
It's reminding me of the light whiskeys we've had that are distilled at a much higher content, right? Whereas this really
So sweet.
sharp and shiny. Okay.
Sweet is the word. Vanilla, kind of a creamy, very Canadian. Some little bit of butterscotch in there. So I was getting more Speyside floralness on the nose than I am on the taste. Now this is kind of like desserty flavors.
Let's move to the next whiskey because we're going to do 2 today.
Okay.
And this one, I'm not sure how easy it will be for people to get it,
Yes.
but this is Green Hat Straight Rye from Sam Gallimore.
Sam Gallimore, you magnificent bastard.
Fight.
Now this is one of the first DC distilleries.
Okay.
Actually making their own whiskey, not on site, right?
Sure.
This is a 3-year-old. I think originally Was it 70% rye, 30% barley, according to what I read.
So very rye heavy.
Rye and barley.
All right, there we go. There's the.
Oh, hey, there it is.
There's the.
There's that note that immediately makes me switch to a different whiskey.
The craft green.
Yeah, I just wish.
The sap.
If I loved that,
Yeah.
then I could fall in love with all kinds of whiskeys.
Well, so let me say this. It's the. You say it's like a sap note, tree sap type of note. Or like a really. This is more of like a vegetal, very young, leathery note.
Yeah, it's definitely more of like, you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of harvesting asparagus in the asparagus garden that we had. When it was fresh, you cut it and then you get the smell of fresh cut asparagus, not cooked.
Yeah.
But raw asparagus.
But along with that, there's this underpinning of some cinnamon and brown sugar.
I'm having a hard time finding it and getting past that thing that makes me immediately go and backpedal.
No, it's there. Presents very similarly on the taste than the nose, but you do have this a little bit more of a squeezed tea bag, astringent black tea, and then some molasses.
It ends sweeter than it smells. It actually ends really sugary for me.
It gets there,
it's dry,
but the bitterness from that squeezed out tea bag doesn't leave you. Well, and it stays with you. For me, at least, it stays with you through the finish. And then. Yeah, that brown sugar shows up. It's not bad. There's a lot of people that absolutely love that whiskey.
Yeah. I'm going to go back to Wayne.
So I think these whiskeys are presenting at very different ends of the spectrum.
Yeah, they are completely polarizing. What?
I'm going to let that...
I wouldn't do that because I just don't like that.
Well, I'm going to see if the combination brings any complexity, any new elements. I'm going to let that sit for a second while we read a comment from the bottom shelf. It's always difficult for me whenever pipe tobacco is mentioned as a note. As a pipe smoker, it's confusing. Are you talking about Burley, Virginia, Latakia, Oriental, or Cavendish?
So I get
Maybe
that.
I'm just a jackass in a small niche hobby. Anyway, great review as always.
No, it's real. I mean, imagine if someone said, well, you got whiskey sauce on this steak.
Right.
And then all the whiskey people are like,
well, do you mean Speyside?
Well, like, what kind? Is it bourbon or scotch? Because that could change everything. And I totally agree. When I say tobacco notes, I tend, not always, but most of the time, I tend to be thinking of the aromatic pipe tobaccos. The ones where they've added scents and flavors, and when you open up the jars. But not
gotten carried away with it. You still get the essence of the tobacco leaf.
Yeah, but it's that dense, rich sweetness mixed into the tobacco.
Ian King. So, a question for you magnificent bastards. When you entertain people at your bar, whiskey room, whatever have you, is everything available for someone to try, or do you hold back certain bottles for yourself only? Personally, I know if I know the person is actually going to enjoy and appreciate the whiskey, my whole collection is open to them. If they just want shots to get drunk or mix, then they get budget. Fair enough. Yeah. It's your collection, man. You do what you want to do.
No, I think that's how I do it.
Yeah.
The thing that he just describes is what I do. I don't keep everything out in the open. It's in cupboards and things.
Yeah.
And so when people come over for whiskey, if it's somebody I know and they like whiskey, then we just go over and like, here, hold this. We start pulling out weird, interesting bottles and trying them. If it's just a group, I pull out a couple, a bourbon, a scotch, maybe an Irish.
Sure.
And we just set them out and I just say, hey, anybody who wants some whiskey, it's over here.
Sure.
But it's only what's presented as available.
So the simple answer, the broad stroke answer is always, and not just whiskey, but always just try and meet people where they are. And there's going to be a lot of people who, if you started pulling off the really fancy stuff off the shelf, and you're pouring them some things and you're explaining what was there, they may actually enjoy themselves less.
Yeah, there'll be a lot of nodding.
Yeah, and they're going to be like, oh, dude, you could have totally pulled off the Crown Royal, and I would have been good, and now I have to pretend like I'm getting all these notes that you're talking about. So if they just like really simple stuff, they like to mix, then meet them right there and just pull off the simple stuff. Doesn't have to be crazy, but if they're wanting to explore and you're willing to throw down some, impressive pours.
I don't think he was asking for advice. I think he was asking what everyone else does.
That's the definition of asking for advice.
No, I don't think so.
What are you talking about?
This is my favorite semantics argument ever.
I'm going to help you out. What did you enjoy about the Ireland?
I enjoyed that our humor matched theirs almost exactly. And so I felt like I was hanging out with a whole bunch of Texan family.
They call it the crake or the crack.
Having a crack.
Having a crack. Yeah, it's the ball busting.
Yeah, it's great.
It's amazing.
They get us.
They do. And like there's this moment of, are you going to be entitled Americans? You're going to be like cool Americans. And then,
then we gave them shit, then they gave us shit back and we laughed.
Yeah, we laughed. And
then it was fine.
And it's just nonstop, good times. This right here, this took over.
How did of course it
The
did.
green hat dominated. When there was that a higher proof on the green hat? 45 compared to 40%.
But still, it doesn't matter. The oils on that are just going to destroy everything.
Yeah. So I saw Eric Way asked in a comment when we did a video on the trip. Says why did you go to Ireland
instead of Scotland when we're both professed Scotch lovers?
Very very easy answer. One, we were invited.
Yeah.
And two, when we asked, is like, what do you expect us to do? They said, do whatever you want. It was the right answer.
Yeah. And we said, okay.
Yeah, game on. Well,
Scotland hasn't invited us yet. They don't like us.
And,
I think Ralphie's got that sewn up with the Scotch test dummies.
He's got that market corner.
Yeah.
No, for the record, if anybody expects us to come visit and they have a criteria for all the things that have to be shown, can't be shown, we're out. We're not going to do it. But they were very open-handed, generous with their time. Whatever we wanted to see, they were happy to show us. It was great. Looking forward to the videos coming up.
Yeah.
Here's to fighting, stealing, and drinking.
If you fight, may you fight for a friend.
If you steal, may you steal a lover's heart.
And if you drink, may you drink with us.
Hey, thanks for hanging out with us in the Whiskey Vault. Don't forget to throw in a like, hit that subscribe button on the bottom right, and drop a question or comment down below.